Views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of ParaX, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
Supernatural, metaphysical, paranormal. You know, all those things you've been wondering about? Are you ready to go deeper into the realms of the unknown? I hope you've got your walking shoes on, because life is an adventure, and this is the journey. Come on, let's go. Hello and welcome to the show, everyone. It's Wednesday night. It's the Journey Radio Show. And hey, Tammy's laughing because we're dancing. Anyway, get control of yourself, girl. I'm Jen Cruz, your host. We're the She-Squatchers. I've got Tammy Trico. Hi, Tammy.
Hey, everybody.
I've got Jenna Grover.
Hello, hello.
And we have a fabulous guest for you tonight. He's coming to us from Grand Rapids, Minnesota. We've got Jeremy Olson from Itasca County Bigfoot Research. Is that right?
Yep, Itasca County Bigfoot Research Center. It's a mouthful.
Center. Okay. All right. Awesome. Thank you for that. Welcome to the show, Jeremy. I'm so excited you could join us tonight.
Oh, ditto. You know, so who comes up with the intro and you ladies dancing? Whose idea was that one?
The intro was that's my voice on the intro, and our awesome producer Sarge picked the music to mix with it. And then Jenna was just being a weirdo and dancing in the beginning of the show.
No, I'm a triple threat.
She's a triple threat.
I've recently learned I'm a quadruple threat. So sorry, guys. Don't be jealous.
Yeah. Anyway, our viewers thought it was great. Our viewers on YouTube loved her dancing and thought she was great, and they started commenting. So we just made it a thing, and now people say they tune in just to see the intro, and then they get hooked into the show.
That's so sweet. Isn't that sweet?
Hey, everybody's got to have a gimmick, a catch or something, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. Somebody had requested that we take all of the intros of us dancing and put it into a compilation of just the intros and put it up on YouTube. And I'm like, that'd be great, but I don't edit, so I can't do it.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to do this for us, let us know. Send it to us. We'd love to watch it.
We'll put it up there. We'll do it. Yeah. So before we get started, I wanted to do a quick announcement. It's a big deal. And let me just show you across the screen, which it's not coming up very good, but here we go. It's our comic book that we're featured in. We are in the brand new graphic novel, full color graphic novel called Searching for Sasquatch, The Hidden Treasure of Bigfoot Valley. And there's Tammy hanging upside down by Bigfoot holding her upside down. Maybe Jen, I can show it because mine isn't showing it. So she's being held upside down there by the Bigfoot, and I'm standing by Jason with the camera, and Jenna's standing next to me, and there's a whole bunch of it going on there. Jenna, can you show them the pages? Anyway, so we're in there. We're now comic book heroes.
Ooh, ooh.
That's why
Nice.
Jenna's a quadruple threat now. So
There's more, Jen.
There's more. Okay.
I'll tell you when I think of it.
Okay, sounds good. Just got to make it up.
Is it the pink Jeep?
Yes, the pink Jeep that says She-Squatchers on the side, which I've always wanted, a life-size pink Jeep, just saying. Yeah. So I was super thrilled to see that got put in there. Because I don't in real life have a pink Jeep, but I have a red Honda.
I have an orange Jeep.
Yeah. But yeah, isn't that a cute pink Jeep? Yeah. Pretty awesome.
I just saw that tonight. So
yeah, pretty cool. It just came out this week, so we're pretty excited about that. So you can find it on Amazon. Everybody listening, you can find it on Amazon, Searching for Sasquatch, The Hidden Treasure of Bigfoot Valley. 40-page full color graphic novel. So,
and I have to say, this is really, it's like a medium hard book, so it's not like a regular comic. It's more of like a graphic novel, right? And it's thick, so like it's much thicker than a regular comic because he wanted to make sure that this would last for everybody. So
yes.
I think it's awesome.
Well,
I
you
haven't
got
read
to
it
bring it out
yet.
to the woods with you, right?
What's that?
I said you have to bring it out to the woods, so it's got to be durable.
Are you talking about reading materials for
Yeah.
sitting by a tree?
You got to.
That's so funny. Yeah. So now
I
that we've
can't wait
shared
to read
that,
it.
I want to hear about your experiences and how you got. I know that you shared with me earlier that you watched the PG film when you were a kid. Tell us what your thoughts. Was that your first awareness that there was something out there called Bigfoot?
Yeah, that was I think that was 6th, maybe 7th grade. And this happened. I can't even remember because back then there was no internet, and I don't remember where I saw that film at. I thought maybe on the news or something, and I'm like, no, that can't be right. There's no way there's some ape-like creature walking around in the woods. Well, then go back to school, and I started looking up Bigfoot stuff and Sasquatch and everything else. And I'm like, okay, this is crazy that people actually believe these things. Then that got me into like the Loch Ness Monster and everything else. And it just kind of snowballed from there. I've always had a fascination about that stuff. Anything cryptid, werewolves are my favorite, even though I don't know anything about them besides, you can shoot them with a silver bullet and that's about it. And anything off of Monster Squad, love that movie too. But yeah, love the cryptozoology. I watch all those shows, and then I got back into it when I was an adult. When excuse me, why can't I think of the show now? Monster Quest. So I started rewatching that stuff with my dad, and then one thing led to another. I moved out of Minnesota, traveled a while, came back into Minnesota, and this just happened like 10 years ago. I was camping with my dogs and started getting back into the Bigfoot thing again. And then just happened to be camping with my dogs. And all of a sudden, I hear this tree knock. I'm like, nah, just branches. That's all I thought it was. But what tripped me was that my dogs all came back and they sat with me the entire night after that first tree knock. Then the second tree knock behind me was like 20 minutes later, there was another tree knock. And I'm like, okay, either somebody's out here messing with me. This is at 2 o'clock in the morning, or I just heard 2 tree knocks. So since that camping experience, I dove more into the Bigfoot experience. Again, started watching all the old episodes of Monster Quest. Wanted to know everything about what Bigfoot is, what they do. Then came out the show with Matt Moneymaker. What's that one again?
Finding Bigfoot.
Finding Bigfoot. So got back into that one, and what's crazy is that all of a sudden they were up here in Minnesota, I think it was twice, 2 or 3 times maybe.
Yeah.
And I know each spot that they were at. I'm like, no way, I have driven past that spot. I've been there before. And I'm like, there's no way these, there's Bigfoots up in Minnesota. Couldn't fathom it. Then after watching all those episodes, it kind of clicked back in my head. I'm like, is that what I experienced with my dogs when we were camping? Was those 2 tree knocks. I've never had an experience like that until back in October again. So myself and my buddy who does this, Zac, we took out a group, and all of a sudden you couldn't hear anything. I was up on some high ground. They were down some lower ground, probably about a quarter mile apart. We were doing tree knocks back and forth. And in this area, there have been 4 different sightings of Bigfoot and some phenomenal in that area. We've had campers complaining that rocks are getting thrown at them. One camper that was the night before we took out a group of people were saying that they woke up with a body print next to their tent. They left all their gear that night, got in their car, and went home. They came back the next day and got everything. I'm like, no way. The gentleman that put us towards this spot has also photos, and we posted these on our Facebook page and it looks like there's something in the trees that are looking at everything. Like there's a figure in the tree and it looks like it's looking at them while they're taking pictures of it in their truck. So back to our walk at the night. So anyway, we're about a quarter mile apart. I was up on the high ground. Zac's down in the low ground with two different groups. We couldn't hear each other knocking back and forth. So it's kind of funny that we were talking, and all of a sudden I'm like, in these shows, they clearly, you can hear clearly knocking, tree knock when they're doing these in the shows. So how close?
No, did he lock up, or is it me?
I think we got out of the woods at like 2:30 in the morning.
Can you back up a little bit, because you locked up and we
Going back.
didn't hear that?
Oh, which part?
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Just-
Which part didn't you hear? Did
Can't
I
hear you,
lose you
Tammy.
You're
guys?
on mute.
Yeah. Back up.
Did
like
I lose
2 minutes.
you?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, just back up just a few sentences. So tell us
Okay.
again how you started.
How I started to begin with is how I very started was it was just kind of myself and my buddy getting out on Memorial Day weekend camping. Then we turned it into a squatching trip. So every Memorial Day weekend, myself, Zac, and two other friends would go out and do this. So that's how we actually got started. And then we kind of took it one step further and got actually more serious with it.
All right. So the people were camping. They left all their stuff and came back for it the next day.
Yeah. So that's what they're telling us. And we went back that evening to do our night walk. And again, we were probably about a quarter mile apart. I was up on high ground. He was down on lower ground. And we're doing our tree knocks back and forth. I couldn't hear him. The group I was with couldn't hear his tree knocks, Zac's tree knocks. Zac couldn't hear our tree knocks. At 2:00 in the morning, we called it quits. And we came back and I started going through the film. And the one kid that we had with, his name's Jackson. I'm going to have this kid with us like all the time because he is comedian relief. It is funny. So anyway, in the one little clip that I started listening to, he said, this is how we die out here in the middle of the night. And no kidding you, right after he said that, he's like, hey, did you guys hear that? Nobody else in their group heard it, but you heard a thump. And it sounded 50 feet away from him. It's in the camera. Nobody else in that group heard it. The kid Jackson said, yeah, I just heard something over here. Wow. They go quiet on the film. And then all of a sudden they started talking again. And then you heard a second knock from the same direction. And it's all on the film. They weren't doing anything. And like I said, we were a quarter mile apart. They couldn't hear us knocking back and forth. So that's our second experience on that.
But did the camera pick it up? You said that it did pick up both knocks, even though no one heard the first one. The camera did pick that first one up?
Yeah, it's on our webpage, and I'll shamelessly plug that in later. But yeah, it's on the camera. One knock, and the kid said, hey, did you guys hear that? And the rest of the people in that group didn't hear anything. Then they started talking, and you distinctly heard a second knock. So I was like, wow. And I had a thermal camera out there and everything else. We didn't pick up anything on our group, but I'm surprised how well that camera picked up that knock. So another experience that we had too was we were out camping, and this is on 40 acres of private land, private property. Nobody can get in there. You have to have a key to get in through the gate. We're out there, myself, Zac, our other friend, Matt, and Zac went off of this point, and he was sitting out there. Now, this is his story, so I hate telling it, but because he's not here. But his experience was that he had sticks thrown at him. Myself and the other guy were back at the campfire. He said he came back and he had sticks thrown at him. The next day, we went out and we walked towards where he was sitting. And what was crazy is we started walking around this ridge line, and I'm like, that's a footprint. To me, it looked like a footprint. was on the side of a hill. You clearly could see where Zac was sitting. And then on the side of this hill, it kind of overlooked where a deer trail was. So it's like, well, if I was a predator, I'd be sitting up high on that hill looking down for my prey. Again, that's our interpretation of that footprint. That's what it looked like to us, is a footprint. I did show that to a lot of other people, and they said, well, it could be a deer scrape. I said, I understand that, but it was this one solid print. And typically when I see deer scrapes, there's branches overhead so they can rub their horns. There were no branches overhead. So either deers did scrape there and just didn't have any branches. I don't know, but it really looked like a footprint to me. And I've been out in the woods all my life. I've seen deer scrapes, and typically they are massive. They're big scrapes. This just looked like a. So that's a couple of our experiences of seeing that. We had another gentleman give us some input on where some tree structures were. He's like, hey, can you guys come out here? This is only like 2 years ago now. He's like, hey, I found you guys on Facebook. Can you guys come out and take a look? I think we have something. Granted, in this area that we were at, we had that tornado that came through. So a lot of the stuff that they were looking at is wind-blown trees. Well, he's like, well, okay, well, that makes sense. The guy's from Florida, vacations up here during the summer. So he's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But he's like, well, how about this? And he points to the one teepee structure. I'm like, no way. No way there's a teepee structure out here. So Zac and I go take a look at it. I looked at it, and I'm like, there's no roots down at the bottom. These were all placed. It was all, I think it was like 5 or 6 sticks all placed together. And I mean, they were, 3 inches around, probably, I think, 10 feet in length, and they were all placed. And there were 5 of them. And I'm like, I can't explain this because there was no root structure there.
Okay, but how sturdy were they?
They were pretty sturdy. I mean,
they
you
were
could probably
pretty
push
sturdy?
on them. Yeah, I mean, you probably could push on them. And again, it's a teepee structure, so it's triangle. It's going to be a good structure.
What do you think they are? Sorry.
I thought the same thing. I thought because it was next to an old snowmobile trail, a really old snowmobile trail. I'm like, well, were there people out here building teepee structures to warm up in, and put a tarp around? That's what I thought at first. I'm like, well, if that's the case, and a human did this, wouldn't we put the structure closer together, the trees closer together, the branches closer together to block off wind? And then you could put that and not just 6 sticks. So to me, and again, this is my opinion on tree structures, I think they might be markered for something. What that marker is, I don't know. Okay. It could be a food source or a water source, because where these markers were, there was a lake 100 yards away. Okay. So maybe if you're walking through the woods and you see these structures, well, maybe it's pointing towards food or water. That's what I think.
Gotcha.
So that's all of our experiences, and it's crazy that this all happened within the last 3 years. And again, like I said, I've been out in the woods hunting with my dad, with my brother and everything else, and friends. I've never seen something like this before in my life.
I know. I spent my whole childhood walking in the woods with my mom, and even alone. And I mean, that's all we did in the summertime was do that, because we didn't have TV or anything like that. So there was like 3 years during my childhood that I did not have a television set in our house. So we were just always outside walking in the woods and looking around and whatever. So that became something I really enjoyed doing. But I never saw anything that led me to think that there could be a Bigfoot. I didn't even know there was such a thing as a Bigfoot back then either. But now that very same woods, I've even gotten a report of there being a Bigfoot back there from one of our old neighbors.
Over in Red Lake?
No, I grew up by Twin Valley, Minnesota, between Twin
Okay.
Valley and Mahnomen. But I am a Red Lake tribal member. So, but I grew up between Twin Valley and Mahnomen in the country there. But yeah, when somebody told me that they had a sighting, and I'm like, "Where do you live?" And he was trying to tell me, and I'm like, "Isn't that the old Dalen farm?" He's like, "Yeah."
Isn't that? I think it's crazy. Now, my question is, it seems like there's a lot more sightings now. Like every day you hear somebody having a sighting. Is that because, and again, my opinion only, strictly my opinion, is it because it's been in the news, on TV, on commercials, on cereal boxes, or whatever it is? It's just advertised more, and people just kind of want to say, "Yep, I saw something," and they just now associate it with a Bigfoot.
I can tell you.
Oh, go ahead.
I can tell you that when we do conferences, and we've traveled all over the country from coast to coast speaking at conferences, and then we have a booth there, and people will come up and tell us their story of their encounter or their experience, and a lot of them will say, "I have never dared tell anybody this before because I didn't want anyone to think that I was crazy." And to be honest, when I went to look for Bigfoot for the very first time, I didn't tell my best friends that I was going either because I was embarrassed to say that I was even going to go look for Bigfoot. So I totally get why people weren't talking about it until recently when it became more of an accepted thing. And now people are like, "Yeah, Bigfoot and even UFOs," right?
Mm-hmm. Aliens walking through walls.
Yeah. You got stories about that too?
Yeah, I do. So this might sound like on some conspiracy theory stuff, but in downtown Grand Rapids, I was over at a friend's house next to the grocery store that fire. It was Halloween. And all of a sudden I look up and there's 6 lights in a V. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, did I just see that? You know, you're just saying like, we don't want to really say a whole lot. You know, if you see something, it's like, did I see that? I asked my buddy, I said, "Hey, did you see that?" And he's like, "See what?" I said, "There were 6 lights that just flew over us in a V shape." And he's like, "Well, what direction?" And I pointed, and it was southwest of us. And he looked and he's like, "Oh, you mean those ones?" And he pointed directly over there again. And he's like, "Those ones?" And I'm like, "Holy bleep, those are them." We're sitting there watching these things. They would fly overhead, they disappear, they come back, and nobody was sitting there filming. Nobody. There was like 10, 15 of us, and nobody's filming. I'm like, oh, got my phone and started filming them. The last flight that they came over, all 6 of them, still flying over in a V. The one on the end, all of a sudden flew straight up, did a curlicue, and disappeared. They all disappeared. I have it on film. I blasted this all over Facebook and in my messengers and told everybody this is what we saw. I went back there to find that video again. Gone. It has been wiped off of Facebook and Messenger, and I can't find it in my phone.
Isn't that interesting?
I am like, this is crazy. I asked my friends I sent that to. I said, "Hey, where's that video I sent you guys?" They can't find it on their phones. So fast forward to 1 year now, my friends were having the same friends, Halloween party again. Guess what? Those lights showed up again.
So they were. Can you describe them better?
So they were just white lights, tiny orbs. They looked probably about 3 feet in diameter. A lot of people were saying, well, they were drones. I have drones. I fly drones. I can hear a drone. These were pretty close, probably about 50 feet above us. You couldn't hear anything.
Wait, how far above? You said 50 feet above you?
50 yards. I meant yards.
Oh.
50 yards above us. You couldn't hear nothing. They were just silent. And it's like, okay, if it was a drone, I can hear a drone probably, 50 feet above me, 100 feet up above. I can hear my drone going.
Well, not to mention it would be really hard to get 6 drones and be moving like that?
Well,
unless
I think they can
entered, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think you can pre-enter a course and you can do all that stuff. But the problem is this is downtown Grand Rapids. You have to have a license to fly in town.
You do?
It's next to kind of like by the airport. It's like in that zone. So.
Tammy.
Yeah, if you're flying a drone in town, they kind of frown upon that. So.
I'm making fun of you, Jenna. Sorry. You're like,
well, this is
you
good.
Do?
This is good for me because I was just planning to bring the drone everywhere and fly it everywhere, but now I know I might get a ticket.
It depends. Yeah, you might. I fly mine pretty much everywhere, and we just picked up. Our group just picked up a thermal imaging drone. So I am very excited to get that out again. We did a test run last weekend or 2 weekends ago. Phenomenal. If you guys can ever get a thermal imaging drone, they are awesome.
How much
was
it?
So bad. Now I want one.
Yeah.
How much? You don't have to talk costs, but can I just ask you? How big is it? Is it was like a regular size drone?
It was what?
It was like $7,000.
Okay.
So do you want to meet us out at Randy's?
Yeah. Can we go out with you?
With your drone?
I do have footage of Randy's place, drone footage of Randy's place already.
Thermal?
That's also on our web. Not thermal though. Yeah, so this was out kind of on the state property. That's where we were flying the drone. Phenomenal footage on that too. I really want to take that thermal drone out there though.
Well, you'd think even for hunting, that would make such a beautiful spot.
Yeah, but you can't use thermal imaging drones for hunting, FYI.
Well, there I go, learning again.
We're not hunters.
They kind of frown on that one. But so yeah, when I did my test run with Zac a couple weekends ago, it was like 2 weekends ago. Come up on this field and we saw some deer in there, drove up the road, popped up the drone, and the footage is phenomenal. You can see like 15 different deer there, then you can see them running. And this is at dark, you know. And what was cool is that we have MP&L, which is our power plant, way back in the background, and that lit up on the screen too. So
nice.
If you guys can get one, definitely get a thermal imaging drone.
Oh, I want it so bad. And I know it's just, it's just a momentary want. No, it isn't.
Yeah.
If you'd like to send us a thermal drone.
We'll start an Amazon wish list for the team, and people can buy it and send it to the P.O. box.
Oh, yeah, right.
They do actually do that for paranormal groups.
Really?
Do they?
Yeah.
They do. Well, people used to send stuff to Carrie Arnold, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Carrie was so good, though. He would give away and
Bigfoot Odyssey. They would send equipment to him for his expeditions, and from the was it 168, 169,
168.
168. So rest in peace, Carrie.
Yeah.
Yes.
So sad. He was such a good person.
Yeah. But we would love that if anybody wants to hook us up with a thermal drone. We would love that. We just got a really nice drone, but it's just drone. But it's higher end drone, but it doesn't do any thermal stuff. So, but yeah Jenna's yeah.
I can do on my remote controller. I can do a side-by-side shot, so I can see thermal on this side and actual video on this side.
You're just
great about
not
that
nice.
No. What's great about that though is if you see something on thermal, I can zoom in like 50 times and you can actually read a license plate 500 feet up in the air.
Nice.
And it's like, that is crazy that you can zoom in, and now it's going to be a great tool. And just even for paranormal investigations, the Bigfoot stuff, anything, it is just going to be a phenomenal tool for this research, the research.
Absolutely.
It's
On that note, On that note, let's go to our commercial break and we'll be right back. Stay tuned, everybody. All right, we should be clear. You're doing great. If you have more to share about that, I'd love to hear it because that's exciting stuff.
Thermal?
The drone stuff.
The thermal drone? Or?
Yeah.
No, it is.
Do you do paranormal stuff as well?
I don't, but I have a friend that is up on Camp Hiawatha. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that up in Grand Rapids. He is kind of like a maintenance guy in this place, and he has sent me videos of kids in the background, like chatting, crying, playing, but there's no kids in the background. It's all voices.
Nice.
The one video he showed me is that he was talking, and then you literally could see somebody walk across the doorway.
Nice.
I'm like, I said, where did you get this? He's like, I filmed this. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Can I just say we need to get together with you guys to kind of just do an adventure and see what we find. You know what I mean? Because that sounds fun, doesn't it, you guys?
I'm down for any kind of investigating. Paranormal, Bigfoot, cryptids, aliens, whatever you want. I'm your girl. Let's go.
Yeah. The one gentleman, he's already had MUFON out at his house. He's the one who pointed us to the Bigfoot teepee structures.
Nice.
Anyway, he's got a mirror in his house, and I've seen this mirror, seen his house, has fingerprints 3 inches long. Or longer than 3 inches, sorry. They were like this big.
Do you mean like
yeah. Like they were like that. Anyway, they're smeared down his mirror.
We should be back to the show.
And they were just long. They were just really long fingerprints. And I'm like, no freaking way. And I saw the mirror, and MUFON was out there. They couldn't replicate.
Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is the Journey Radio Show. And hey, we're the She-Squatchers. Won't you check us out online at she-squatchers.com? And hey, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram at She-Squatchers Official. Please come like, follow us, subscribe to us at those places for all the what's going on with us. And we're back to our show. We got Jeremy Olson from Grand Rapids, Minnesota, and Itasca County Bigfoot Research Center. And he was just telling us some amazing things. So continue. We'd love to hear more about that.
So during break there, I was just telling them about, I have a friend, his name's Chad. He works up at one of the camps up here, and he's had some crazy phenomenon going on. He's showed me videos. He's had like kids in the background playing, talking and stuff like that. And then he's videotaping these, but there's no kids. So there's voices there. And the one video that he showed me while we're getting lunch, he was talking to somebody. He was filming. There was nobody in the doorway, and you could literally see a figure walk through the doorway. I really want to get with Chad and get out there one of these days just to do that. I'm not a paranormal person. I don't know anything about it besides from watching TV. That's about it. But I would really love to get out there and do something like that with him. And the other gentleman that I was talking about too is that he had fingerprints on his mirror. He's got lights that go by his house all the time. And it's crazy. So there's a lot of paranormal stuff up here mixed with Bigfoot. So do those two go together? Personally, I don't think they do. I think they're two separate categories. I know a lot of people do put those, like Bigfoot's a extraterrestrial being or whatever, and he portals in and stuff. I don't believe in any of that stuff. My belief is, I think it's a lost person, lost tribe, or something like that. Cro-Magnon, probably beyond that, where they're just hiding in rocks and caves, and they come out when they need to, and that's when you see them. Do I think they're 10 feet to 18 feet tall? No. I think they're more about 7 to 8, maybe 9 feet at the tallest.
What do you think about the intelligence?
Well, that's the thing. They're building structures or something like that. They keep off main roads. They're out in the woods. They're not moving a whole lot during the day, but there's a lot of day sightings. It seems like there's more at night. are they nocturnal, or what do they call them? What's the term where they're both night and day?
Nocturnal. No, not nocturnal.
I'm not sure what that term is.
It escapes me, but they more move like towards like dawn and dusk. It's it starts with a B.
The natives, my native elders have said that when it starts to get dark, that's their time.
Yeah, and all the sightings that we've had in all of our experience have been in the Chippewa National Forest. I think that has a lot to do with things too. I really do believe that the natives have something there. I think that it was part of their culture. You see it on rock faces. You see it in their paintings. You see it in their culture to begin with. You hear all their stories on these things too. So I really think that they had something with these creatures. So, and I think they still continue. But, and again, my opinion only, I think it's getting lost. As society moves on, I think a lot of that old school stuff gets lost. So hopefully somebody in their family or whoever keeps up that tradition of those stories and keeps that. So
that's a lot of a lot of stories were lost when the native people were put into mission schools and they weren't allowed to teach that to the children anymore. So I noticed from being from my reservation and traveling and listening to stories from different reservations and then coming back and talking about this. I was at a wellness day on my reservation and we were doing storytelling and I said something about the story of the first birch bark basket and everybody just looked at me like, huh? And I said, you know, the story of the first birch bark basket, and we don't know that story. And I was like, okay, well, the elder I heard it from was from closer to Duluth. So I told the story and they had never heard it. They had never heard it. So it just certain people have retained it and it hasn't been shared equally among them, I don't think. And so some of the stories have been lost, I'm sure of it.
Yeah, it'd be nice
because that's an oral history that you guys have, and somebody needs to write it down before it's all lost.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's that niche of storytelling is gone. It doesn't seem like it's there anymore. It seems like it's like, oh well, just go look it up on YouTube, go look it up on the internet. I don't want to tell you the story, but the story's out there.
I think the
I want to hear a story
in
from somebody.
I think the care in people's storytelling and people's personal actions is not as strong as it used to be. The care, the want to perform, the want to explain, the excitement in their stories and their memories.
Winter is storytelling time to the Ojibwe. So now is storytelling time. And I have lots of friends from White Earth, Red Lake, Fond du Lac, Mille Lacs reservations, and they're all posting about story time. So they are still having story times.
Jen, maybe you should write a book with all the native stories.
I'm not able to go to all of them, but I'm just saying that they are still having storytelling. So just wanted to clarify that it is available.
Well, that's good, but it, again, like I said, it just seems like that art is lost nowadays. The other thing I think is going to be scary to this community is the AI applications that are coming up.
Yes.
I think a lot of these videos are all going to be fake. They're all going to be AI generated. Another thing I saw the other day, and I don't know what the technology is, but they're strands, like they look like fishing line. You can put it up like a net, and then have you seen this?
No.
She's on mute or something.
Sorry, go on. I talked enough. On mute.
Oh, okay. So it's like a fish net, but it's like fishing line, polypropylene or something like that. But you can put this up on balloons. It's that lightweight, and then you could project a 3D image onto that screen, and it looks real life. So if that technology is out there and people can get their hands on that, are they going to fake all these things now?
So how do you think we're going to know the difference between what is real and what is fake?
Probably won't.
So what's it going to take? Like, if there's like a group of people out there and they witness it and they film it and they're all saying this is true, I'll take a lie detector test. What do you think?
I think it's going to be your own opinion on their view. Mm-hmm. I think that's what's going to come down to. Yeah, lie detector tests aren't 100%. They can't even use them in a court of law. Eyewitness testimony isn't really reliable either. Take, for instance, the Colorado train one that was just recently in the news. To me, that's very, very suspicious that everybody that goes by the same spot every day, exact same time, nobody else on that train got a video of this creature walking across, just the last two people in that car. That's just suspicious to me. You know, that nobody else came out with another video corroborating with their stuff. So yeah, again, expressly, these are my opinions.
Uh-oh, did we lose him?
Percent of stuff that is up. Are you there?
You did lock up there. Your opinion is what you said.
My opinion is 90% of the stuff that is out there is probably fake. It's made up, something, misidentification between a known animal, bear, moose, whatever it is. Because if you ever watched a moose walk from the backside, it looks like a human. Looks like a 8-foot human sitting there. 10% of the stuff out there, I think, is real. That's what I want to get, is that 10% of the real truth. That's my goal. And again, like I said, I get a lot of flack for saying that everything's fake. I don't think everything's fake. That 10% that I want to know.
Well, I know that Bigfoot is real because we've seen Bigfoot. We've all seen him. Yeah. I saw him out in the open during the day for quite a long period of time while I was walking towards it at Randy's.
I've heard that story. That made it to us pretty quick. So I am flabbergasted. I hope I get out there and get to see that.
Well, and the crazy thing is, it was boom right there where other people had sightings too.
We didn't know that either until after Michael Quast said, well, that's interesting because other people have seen them in those locations too. And I'm like, really? That's cool.
Yeah.
That they must hang out there.
Randy, he's just got to have some weird thing out there that's going on. I don't know what it is.
I think they like that he, have you been out there at all ever?
I've been out there once. We spent probably an 8-hour day out there.
Okay. So, all those very nicely mowed, very wide paths that he has. I think they like that. I like that. I'm sure you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I like walking easy paths.
Yep. I think they like that, and the fact that nobody really bothers them, like not really.
Yeah, I'm just surprised though. It's that close to a highway.
I'm not. It's very common for them to be showing up in power line corridors like that, which are often paralleling a highway. So, I mean, from all over the country, that's a constant thing that people report is on a power line corridor like that.
I said we're new to it. I'm still evolving. Again, I'd love to see all sides of the angle. I'm just one of those people that I want to see every aspect and come up with my own conclusion on things.
I like that.
My conclusion is probably going to be absolutely wrong, but I'm going to go down that avenue and test those theories. That's what we all should be striving for, I think.
Right.
Is let's look at all angles of this, rule out everything, and then you come up with your theory and be like, this is what it is. We ruled everything out. This is the only thing that comes up.
Well, and it's always changing too. I heard a question not too long ago and I couldn't answer it because my thoughts on it had changed so much that it's all over the board. Do you have problems with that too? Kind of just
Yeah. Recently it's been it's kind of like, I don't want to say his name because I don't want to, a lot of his videos out there, I think are maybe fake. But I think he's genuinely seen something. I think he has something going, but I think just for TV purposes, he might have put something there. Again, I'm not going to say his name because I do not want to slander this person or anything else like that, because I really, truly think he might have something there. But the stuff that's out on the internet, I think might just be showmanship.
I think that's sad when people who have real experiences and they're so gung-ho to show other people that they manufacture them if they can't get it on camera. I think that's sad, and I encourage everybody not to do that. Stop hoaxing shit. Oh, sorry. Stop hoaxing stuff. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Jen!
That was purely my emotion coming through. Dang it.
I think I touched a button on that one. Oof.
Oh, now I'm turning red. I'm so sorry. At least it wasn't an F-bomb. Anyway. Oh, goodness.
No,
Gonna
but
be in
to
trouble
change
now.
the subject again, I have to go back. And Jen, you will not live this down. I will mention that word to you forever. I'm like, before the show
know.
starts, I'm going to say no swearing, Jen. Just remember, no swearing. Because before every show, she always tells me, no singing, Jenna. I'm like, I know.
Timmy.
Right? No, but I was going to say, as far as all of this fake AI, I'm not saying that everything is fake or everything like that, but what I'm saying is the more you show a person to choose for themselves which is fake and which is real, we're going to get confused. So the perfect way to confuse the world is to just give them too much to think about. So all of this AI, that's all I believe that it's doing, is just giving us too many things to look at. Smiley Jen.
I just heard you say shh too much. So that's why I was
you
laughing.
Little stinker. You're waiting for the rest to come out.
No, I'm not. I don't want you to, but it would have been okay, I think, maybe.
It's okay now that I did it. Everybody can say it.
No, it's not. It's not okay. It's not okay. Bad,
That
Jen,
goes a
bad.
little bit deeper.
I'm sure that could be edited, right? It can be a
No,
beat somewhere in
We're
there.
live.
This
We're
is
live.
what we get.
Yeah, we're live on the radio. So yeah, I don't care what we put on YouTube, but we're live on the radios.
Yeah. And we don't change
Oh,
anything.
man.
For the
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Well, yeah, like I was saying, I think this AI generation, I think it's going to ruin a lot of things. It might help for in the long run, though, too. It might be beneficial. It might be a double-edged sword with the AI stuff.
It's beautiful,
Hopefully,
though. The AI stuff is beautiful, amazing images.
I just got an AI app on my phone, and I gotta say, it's amazing. It's smart, but it is also so dumb. Because I'll be like, I want a Bigfoot in the woods with 3 women, and then it gives me a Bigfoot in the woods with 3 naked women. I'm like, no. So then I write Bigfoot
And she's
in the
sending
woods.
this to us.
A Bigfoot in the woods with three fully clothed women, and still it gives it Tammy shows up topless.
But we figured maybe it knows more than it,
yeah, probably what it's doing. So
it's topless. Don't start that rumor.
No. I'm just teasing.
Everybody will want to go out into the woods with us.
Yeah, she does not go without top. But now I want to play with it. I need to find the AI, the AI application now. Let's see what I can create.
That gave me an idea. When we're alone, maybe just us girls.
You never know
if they come out. Do you think
You
it would
mean if
work?
we take our tops off? I don't care. I mean, if we're alone, I'd do it.
As long as there's no camera guy
Yes.
there.
No
Right?
camera, no
Basically,
people,
No drone.
Yeah.
no drones, no thermals, no thermal drones.
Don't knock it till you try. You never know.
I can't wait. I want one so bad.
I thought you couldn't wait for the topless expedition, but
No, I can't wait for that either. That'll be a great experience.
I'm just
I always
kidding.
run around without shirts on, so
Don't-
in
you
my
don't
own
post-
house. In my
Yes,
own house.
She does. That's very true.
I do.
Yeah.
Freedom.
Day in the life of Jenna Grover.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty boring.
Anyway, sorry, didn't mean to go there, but
Hey,
you brought up the AI, and that's been my life this week because I was playing with it going, and I was sending the pictures to the girls. I'm like, dang it, this is so
Yeah.
awesome, but so stupid.
And
Because I
she-
show them what I like, a screenshot of what I asked for, and I asked for 3 fully clothed women.
She really did write that, and it did.
and
It
then
was a pervert.
Yeah,
go figure.
yeah.
I know.
And then I looked at the women, and I'm like, that's Tammy. That looks like Tammy right there.
You know,
I know
Jeremy's
it's gotta
gonna
be
get off.
naked.
Jeremy's gonna get off the show, and he's gonna go, "What was that? What was that application, Jen?" And he's gonna write in, put 3 women in Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
I'm sorry, Jeremy. You wouldn't do that.
Wink, wink.
We don't know him
Oh,
yet,
good
so
grief.
we don't know what he would or would not do.
That's true. That's very true. But he sounds like he's a very respectful, responsible person.
I'm responsible-ish.
Okay, that's good enough. We don't ask for perfection.
So, I'm responsible to a certain point. You know, I just went and spent money on a thermal drone. Is that responsible? Probably not.
Yes, it is. It's so responsible.
I
Because if
love that
I
about
ever
you.
do that, I need to have that. Like,
I fully
Well,
support you, Jenna.
thank you. I knew you would.
I'm hoping to use that thermal imaging around here too for lost dogs, pets, whatever else too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Good
Yeah.
idea.
You know
Very
what
good
else I
idea.
want to get? And I don't know if you have one, Jeremy, or not, but I would love to get one of those metal detectors, like a really good metal detector. Have
Jenna,
you
I have one.
not.
a really, really good one
Yes.
that we could bring out into the woods?
Yes.
Okay, then forget it.
I
Jeremy,
have-
do you have one?
I don't. You got me on that one. So I got a thermal imager, handheld one, and the drone, and a couple other drones and some other cool gear. That's about it. No metal detector, but
All right. That's
even
another
have-
thing on my list. Thank
You
you.
even have the little shovel
Yeah.
that has the metal detector on it. So when you're digging where you got the alarm, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I
think we need to bring that out. Hmm?
I said that would be an interesting thing. You know, if you're seeing something out in the woods, what's under the ground? Could it be?
Especially, yeah, because I wouldn't want to mess with anything that the structures or anything, but man, it would be interesting to find out what's around the structures and what's around
Yeah.
these little things that we're finding.
That's a
Ooh,
good
I've got all
thought.
these ideas. I gotta stop. Can't tell them online.
She has never ever said to me that she wanted a metal detector before because I was like, what?
Yes,
have
I
one."
have. I literally talked to you in the car. I don't know when it was, but I said, I want one of those. My sister and brother-in-law were talking about theirs.
Was I listening?
Probably not. I talk all the time, so she
You're
just
probably
tunes
not.
me out.
Fade out, Jenna.
Fade out.
Yeah, typically when Zach and I go out, we just bring a thermal imager, now the thermal drone, an EMF reader, couple cameras. I do bring trail cams once in a while too, and then a tape recorder that we leave out all night.
So the
So
trail
that's
cam,
our basic gear.
the trail cam that you have, is it one that my brother-in-law was showing me? He wanted his, and I was excited because I wanted it, and it's not very expensive. But Tammy, stop! I want everything. But anyway, it will send him. It will take pictures all day, and motion activated pictures, and then it'll send him. He selects a time of day that they're all downloaded into his phone. Do you have something like that, or just like the? Because I've got an old one.
So I bring both of those. I bring an old one that doesn't send pictures, just in case of, and I'll tell you a story on that one too. This was a brand new camera. It didn't send pictures to my phone. One of the older style ones, brand new, hooked it up, tested it, worked, brought it up to the one place where we found this footprint at. No pictures on that one. Okay, switched out batteries and everything else, still no pictures on that one. It was working because we walked past it, because what we did is we set out some apples. Sorry, go back. We set out apples, and the apples were strictly right in front of that camera. All the apples were gone, but no picture.
So, and it was set on motion activated.
So it's set on motion.
How do you explain that?
Past it, I don't know. Could have been squirrel. Could have been something small where it wasn't in the picture frame. Could have been, I don't know. Could have been a bad SD card. It glitched.
Did it show you guys though?
It did, but it could have been. I don't know. I can't really explain it. We sat there and like, well, it could have been something small that we just didn't see. Mm-hmm. Squirrel or something got up there. The camera didn't trigger fast enough. Again, it was an older style where it doesn't have that fast enough trigger speed. Now,
or heck, a stick could push those things. They roll.
Yeah. So the newer cameras that I have are all they go directly to my phone, and which is awesome. And they're a faster trigger speed and everything else. I haven't had anything pick up on those. We've left them out for 3-4 days in a gifting area, and nothing. I know there's a big controversy. Myself and Zach go back and forth. He's like, well, I don't want cameras on this one. Well, I'm going to put cameras on this one then. And we try and see what happens. One gifting area won't have cameras, the other one will. So
what have you found? I mean, have you found anything you want to share?
The only thing that we found, birds. That's it. Nothing.
So, but there's no difference between the two areas.
Nope. Is it a bad area? I don't know. So the area that we do these things, we're trying new areas all the time. So like last year, the place that we were at, I don't think there's been any sightings up in the area, but there were sightings north of it and south of it. So we kind of plotted a spot in the middle. Let's see what happens. And of course, those gifting areas, nothing there for 3 days. I think we want to do, maybe set a trail cam out. I'm not afraid to get it stolen, and then have something out there year round.
Oh, wouldn't that be cool?
And then the only time you would have to go out in those woods is to change out a battery. That'd be about
yeah. Like that's the only time you'd go out there to change a battery. The only time I'd ever have to walk out in the middle of the woods. That's so funny.
We're coming to the end of the show here, so we want to give you the opportunity to let people know where they could reach you if you want to be reached.
Okay. So we are on Facebook, and again, we are on Itasca County Bigfoot Research Center, and that's where everybody can reach us, and they can follow us. And again, we have a lot of video and pictures that came from us. The other thing that we do is we take videos from other people too, and we place them on there, and we ask everybody else's opinion on them too.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and we'll see you next week. We'll have Jesus Payan is joining us from Breaking Bad. He's into Bigfoot. We'll see you next week. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.